of the most tiring storylines that I've heard about CLG is that we're all about friendship. But to me, it was never about the power of friendship. That was kind of a story someone else told about CLG, but I want to tell a new story. As a team, the reason we stuck together is to win and to be the best. So to me, like, making the Dardoch move was the right thing to do.
There's a lot of people saying this is CLG split to win, and with the addition of me, we're going to be a new team, and we're going to iron out the faults that they had last season or for the last 2 years. And yeah, I'd say that they're right.
What he brings to a team is actually what we needed on CLG.
Sort of a boisterous personality that we kind of lacked on the team.
He'll get passionate, he'll get heated about things, but he also helps us improve a lot faster.
I'm not the kind of person to beat around the bush. If I see an issue in game or out of game, I'll bring it up instantly because I want it fixed and I want us to improve. And working on CLG, everyone is like that. I do think that we have a good chance of winning the split. If we keep up the work ethic we have now, we will easily be the best team in North America by the end.
Welcome back, everyone, to the North American League Championship Series for the 2017 Summer Split. Teams return hungry to prove themselves here in the LCS studios in Los Angeles, California, and the fans are out in force to support their favorite teams as they start their journeys and their quest for the NALCS title and perhaps representation at Worlds. Here earlier, we saw Dardoch roll up with the new squad. We heard that he thinks with practice they could be the best team in the North American LCS. Jensen, though, entering with Cloud9, looking for redemption after finishing second in the spring split. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson. Joining me to kick out the analyst desk, Aiden Zyrene Moon. We've made it to the summer split. How you doing?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm really excited to get summer kicked off.
Absolutely. We've had a few roster changes, some stuff that we're going to get to look at going into the season, but all in all, I'm super excited for what looks to be like a very competitive split at that. Let's go ahead and begin by looking at the teams that are taking to the stage today. First up, Dardoch debuts as CLG's new jungler versus Spring's Rookie of the Split, Contracts, and Cloud9. Then Xmithie dons a new jersey as he and Immortals look to take down Inori and Phoenix 1. Now, despite this being the first time that all 10 of our teams are returning from the spring split, almost all of them have made an adjustment of some kind.
Yeah, it was a bit of a calm offseason, though. We talk about the teams making some adjustments, but no team actually made more than one change to their starting roster. Nobody made two, which is incredible. Means that we have less of that time where people are saying, oh, we blew up the roster, we have to re-synergize. None of that. These are the same organizations. They have spring to build on as well, and we only have one rookie in this entire split who's slated to be a starting roster man. So I think right now, we're looking at a split where there's no excuses. Right out of the gate, this should be the most competitive NALCS split to date.
Makes the Rookie of the Split vote pretty easy as well. But
That's
let's
true.
go ahead and talk about some of the more notable roster moves that you mentioned. The big one being CLG Immortals, swapping Xmithie and Dardoch.
Yeah, both these guys kind of had underwhelming splits last split. Their teams not really doing as well as they would want to in the standings, but you traded an aggressive jungler for a jungler that was more about playing around the team. Dardoch's known to be a star, known to be a very boisterous personality, whereas Xmithie more calm, more team-focused, and so the trade went like that, where it seems like Immortals wanted to play a little bit more around their carries of Flame and unlock Pobelter, whereas it seems like CLG wanted more force from the jungle.
Right, you kind of have that consistent jungler, what you know you'll get out of Xmithie, as you mentioned, playing around his team and setting them up, whereas for Dardoch, for his career so far has been about, you know, this is a star on the rise, but he hasn't found the right team yet. He hasn't had a breakout split. He's had breakout games. We're waiting for that full split to kind of cement him as a star among the NALCS. But my question to you is, within this trade, who got the better end of the deal?
I think CLG. You talking about Dardoch not having a breakout split? I think day one, week one, Dardoch was already a star, rookie of the split on his debut. I think that that guy has the power that they need. And CLG, now they have somebody who's going to, they talked about not so much about the friendship, give the feedback that they need. They don't have those passive members on the team now. Everybody is open to improving. And I've talked to Dardoch about this move, and he said, CLG, it was all about the friendship and everybody has that camaraderie. but everybody's on the same page about wanting to be the best team, and that's where he kicks in.
Right, and that's what they have to do. They got to win that NALCS title in order to be truly considered the best. Another set of notable pickups, though, or a switch-up, rather, would be Doublelift Wild Turtle from TSM to FlyQuest here, and Doublelift back into the roster that went 17-1 last summer.
Yeah, you got a little taste of Doublelift on TL last split when he was kind of in retirement or taking a break, but TSM fans are ecstatic. TSM didn't really have a good midseason invitational, and they are waiting for Doublelift to come back. Last time we saw him on TSM, 17-1 match record, winning summer 2016. So fans are ready for Doublelift to be back in there. They want to see what the shot calling looks like with him back on the roster.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Expectation is actually pretty high because the last time we saw him was that 17-1 run that they made. Of course, they did have a disappointing appearance at Worlds that year. We'll see if they can return to form immediately or if it will take some time to ramp up. On the flip side, Wild Turtle, funnily enough, rejoining some former teammates of his, Highs Balls Lemonation, from 5 years ago.
2012, Orbit, and also Quantic Gaming. Wild Turtle was a part of that roster with High, and that's when he first got his competitive debut. And then I think that right now, this is really good for Turtle, because he was in a spot where people are like, where's the old Turtle? Where's the flash forward, aggressive pentakill Turtle?
Right.
Kind of not seen for a while. But back on a roster with High enabled Moon to have a breakout, career-defining split last spring. And now I think that's going to happen again for Wild Turtle with somebody who enables him to be aggressive. Because High, out of position, really aggressive, but Turtle can be right there with him.
Exactly. We've talked about it so many times. What High does to unlock other players on the team might be exactly what Wild Turtle needs to finally show, that mechanical prowess, but in an aggressive manner that he always has wanted to.
Exactly. And if you were looking at TSM near the end, it was kind of like these guys need to play carries. Turtle, not a lot of people in the community had confidence in him, and they were asking for Doublelift back on TSM. If he's having some confidence issues, High is the guy to fix those. Wild Turtle, I feel like we're going to see that smile again on FlyQuest, and he's going to be right up there on top of the stand.
Them pearly whites, we got him right there. Hopefully we'll see him live in just a few minutes. But we also got to talk about the fact that there's a new patch, right? Always when we talk about League of Legends is the fact that this game iterates on every 2 weeks. And so even while all these roster moves are coming through, and for example, we talk about Dardoch being a playmaker, well, tank rework, and all of a sudden relevance of tanks in the jungle, how is this going to affect different players within the league?
Exactly. A little bit more team focus. We'll still see the fighters, but I think Sejuani and Zach are the two big ones here that we'll see in Champion Select pretty frequently, depending on picks and bans. I think that helps people like Rainover, former MVP, but was on TL, and they really struggled. They need to find a way to avoid being in relegations again, and I think with the tank rework, this gives Rainover a little more agency in the jungle than it was before with things like Kha'Zix and Graves.
Yeah, the mark of a true pro, or the best pros, are the ones that can change with the times, evolve with the game itself. Another big change coming through, though, the Rift Herald. And this is an objective change. It'll be very interesting to see how the teams decide to play around it strategically.
Exactly, because the pick ban, the champion changes, that's not every game. This is literally every game. The top side of the map, after 10 minutes, the Rift Herald will spawn. It's a soloable objective. It gives you an empowered recall, and it gives you this gigantic behemoth to push down turrets. It does 25% of its current health to the turret when it rams into it, and you'll see it right here. It's just going to demolish that thing, and it's allowing players like Flame or Someday, who had the best top laning stats in the league, to have a way to push that objective further, to get this Rift Herald, to get turrets, tier 2s, possibly inhibitor turrets, and help their team end the game when they struggled with that.
I'm also really excited about the fact that it's just going to separate the map, right? It's going to put weight into the top side of the map, where it's just we're always for the first 20 minutes talking about how the teams are going to set up and play around dragons. Well, guess what? One team go dragon, the other team goes Rift Herald. All of a sudden, vision control, all these types of things are going to really come into play that much sooner into the game.
And it means teleport plays have to be good teleport plays, or they get punished early on. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is what's going to happen in that top lane, because we're going to see these tanks like Galio and Nautilus and Gragas push out the wave, but we're also going to see Fiora, we're also going to see Kled, we're going to see people try to crush the lane to scale, to get the Rift Herald, to push down turrets, and I think that this is going to be really explosive, because we had the talent. Remember last split, we were like, top lane NALCS, such a great lane, there's so much stack there. Everybody's playing tanks.
Yeah.
Not going to happen this split. There will be some, but I still think the top carries are going to be big.
We'll see if we get it. You mentioned that this could be the most competitive split we've had, in contrast to what was already a very competitive spring split this year. Before we kick off the summer split, though, Contract shared his thoughts on facing CLG's new jungler. Take a look.
I'm actually really looking forward to playing against CLG, because I've played against Dardoch through Challenger, through last LCS split, and he's always been one of my biggest challenges as a jungler for sure. And I'm just looking forward to playing against him, and hopefully we can pull out the win.
Well, we'll see him at the ref very soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the caster desk. My name is David Freak. Turley helped me break in this desk. Sam, Kobe, Hartman, Kensler, I saw in rehearsal, had to match you.
Oh, no. Off to a great start.
All right, we are preparing for our first series of the split as Cloud9 takes the stage against Counter Logic Gaming, and we're going to begin by introducing the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's Cloud9. You can see right here that Ray is starting in the top lane for them, getting the very first start of the split. Contracts in the jungle, Jensen in mid, hoping for redemption with Sneaky and Smoothie in the bot lane, with Coach Reaper still, of course, with the squad.
And, of course, on the other side, it will be Counter Logic Gaming. Darshan up in the top lane. Now in the jungle will be Dardoch, mid Huhi, bottom Stixay, support Aframu, and Coach Zix on stage with them.
It's going to be fun to watch for absolutely. So Counter Logic Gaming, up until the split, had the longest standing roster in the NALCS, and of course now they have changed that. Xmithie is out, obviously, and Dardoch is in.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the biggest offseason moves that we did have, just because, you know, Dardoch and Xmithie are completely different junglers. Dardoch, very aggressive. He's focused on creating and winning very often early skirmishes with other junglers. He also has a very wide champion pool, so I'm very excited to see, you know, how they do incorporate that. And all the eyes are not just going to be on how Dardoch individually performs, but how the team performs around him. Because people are talking so much about how, you know, driven and dedicated of a player he is, and how much you know, fuel that he will add to the rest of the team's fire and their competitive spirit.
Sure, and as we've been hearing, it's a different style of jungle compared to Xmithie, the first aggro jungle they've had since maybe Dexter back in 2014. Now, of course, they've got a huge test in front of them. They're going against one of the strongest teams in North America. They didn't change any of the roster. It's Cloud9, runners-up from last split.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a big reason why Cloud9 actually were contender for last split, was their integration of their rookies. You know, Contracts and then bringing on Ray as a sub. Contracts was one of the most seamlessly integrated rookies that we've ever seen into the LCS, and part of the reason why they made that really strong run to end in second place. But Ray, top lane, you said it already, he's starting now for the team. They've really embraced that sword and shield sort of mentality with him and Impact, and now there are even more carry champions and more carry items available here for the top laners. So, you know, talk about dynamic strategies that are possible. Cloud9 definitely has some extra cards.
Totally agree. You mentioned Sword and Shield. Of course, Doran's Shield itself probably overpowered right now, but a lot of the top lane swords got buffed. Ravenous Hydra, Death's Dance, Bloodthirster, those items got more efficient. They either got more attack damage or got cheaper, and that just means that those champions up there got better. We'll see how much fewer we see, how many carries we get up there. The picks and bans have begun for the first game of the North American LCS Summer Split. For those who have not seen drafts this year, there's a second ban phase. We'll get into that later, but we can see Zach off the table. No surprise there, and the Shannon LeBlanc also no stranger.
Yeah, Zach came out very, very healthy after the last round of buffs, as everybody's pretty well aware. Very high win rate on him. And continued jungle focus actually here from Counter Logic Gaming. Zach is definitely expected as a very common ban right now due to personal power, but Elise follows it as well.
Zach and Elise are actually the two most prolific junglers in pro play right now, with a sample size of like 8 matches roughly, but they are 1 and 2, and Contracts taking some heat.
Interesting top lane focus, meanwhile, from Cloud9. You know, Shen was something that CLG has used very well, you know, to pull off a lot of their cross-map play in the past, and a good ban against Darshan, but very quick here, insta-lock Galio for first. The Fiora is banned, but I've also seen a lot of people really happy to play like Fizz into it and do a very similar thing, try and get that 1v1 pressure and side lane pushing power.
Well, we have seen from pro play so far this split, mid Galio is not out of possibilities. Maybe we see that come through at some point. Caitlyn, the early grab here for Counter Logic Gaming. One other thing to point out with the metagame is it is now carry bot laners more so than utility bot laners have gone a bit more common. Big buffs to Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, and Zeal means the Caitlyn's and the Jinx of the world are more powerful.
Jinx and Caitlyn, definitely, especially Caitlyn with the Hurricane, still working really well, charging up those headshots. And the Gragas here, you're mentioning flex picks with Galio. Gragas also flexible, could go to Dardoch. Also, definitely one of the very common champions to run into Galio if it happened to be up in the top lane. And we shall see here as it filters a little bit through. Varus has been super common as well, you talked about. Also now building more in the crit and auto attack based builds.
Yeah,
and can get through lane quite well versus Caitlyn.
Absolutely agree. We'll see what it ends up being here. Of course, one final pick. The last one of the first phase for Cloud9. Jensen on your screen here. And taking all the time in the world down to the last second here, and Lulu going to be grabbed up in the first round.
So the jungler focus from CLG didn't even result in an early jungle pick from Cloud9. So they could pile on 2 more jungle bans in the next phase if they decide to pick one either up here or actually put Gragas into their jungle role.
We'll see what it ends up being. Yeah, do they push contracts down further? One final pick here in this phase for CounterLogic Gaming. It looks like Lulu and Karma will match up down to the bot lane. We mentioned flex picks. Both those can still go mid, of course, but
yeah,
traditionally they are seen down there in the bot side.
2 of the most common supports right now, the shielding supports. Both of those there for 1 each. And let's see, will CLG continue to ban junglers here? They still have the opportunity to first pick in second round if they so choose to put that Gragas top.
Yeah, they can remove 7 junglers from the table themselves with 5 bans and 2 picks. Jarvan off the table is a flexible top jungle. But mostly a top laner.
Yeah, it definitely, you know, Ray known for his Jarvan for a long time, even before the W buffs to Jarvan, which were several patches ago, and has just gotten stronger since then. So they're very ready for that Galio flex into the mid lane and continue to ban mostly focus Ray, although technically, yeah, contracts could run it jungle as well.
Syndra off the table away from Huhi, of course, mid laners aside again from the flexible supports. Also unseen here, so definitely some different drafts as we just have to, the teams have to figure out what they even need to get rid of because of so many options. It makes it a hard draft to follow in a certain way.
Yeah, and they both have very good and safe bottom lanes already. And the top lanes could potentially be very good wave clear and sustain tanks. So there's not really a lot of opportunity to exploit the draft of either team right now. So it's why they're kind of smattering their bans around here still in the second phase.
Well, Syndra ban opened up. Maybe the chance of the early Orianna scene they might want for Jensen here in this one. Still got to wait to see what it's going to be. Final ban of the draft here for Cloud9 as the time ticks down, and it's going to be Jace off the table as well. So another mid/top flexible choice there. CLG, of course, not a lot of magic damage on the composition, so Jace is a bit less likely, but
I do kind of like him into Galio in some situations, though. 6A with his classic, favorite champion Warwick hover. Does not mean anything here, although I do expect this to be okay. So maybe they're still keeping that Gragas flexible. They're waiting till the very last moment here to reveal from CLG. This is definitely a huge champion for Huhi, though. Talia plays right into his roaming playstyle. He can shove lane. It's akin to Aurelion Sol, which he absolutely has taken over many games, even on the world stage in.
Absolutely.
So I think it is a good lock in there for CLG.
For sure. Early roaming has always been one of Huhi's absolutely greatest strengths. It's one of the best things I like about CounterLogic Gaming is they seem to have a lot of these first 5 minutes planned plays, and maybe we get one out of this one. Orianna locked in the mid lane for Jensen.
And one of the things, we always have commented CLG on their pre-planning going into games, but now with the addition of Dardoch, one of the big changes there is that he continues to look for proactive plays, through the mid game. And if he can go for proactive plays with a roaming mid laner, with Huhi, then this might be a completely different CLG that we see. Meanwhile, though, we do see that Olaf lock in here for contracts.
All right.
Not perturbed by any of these jungle bans.
Yeah. And looks like the flexibility is gone as Lulu will be in the bot lane, Olaf into the jungle, of course, and Galio will remain top lane, so Cloud9's first pick does go to the top lane pick. And now, at the very end of the draft, Dardoch, the self-proclaimed cleanest Lee Sin NA, despite the fact that a champion did catch some small nerfs, clearly still viable, and Dardoch going to bring it out for his first game on CounterLogic Gaming.
Yeah, not only viable, but still very much popular among all regions, and very excited to see this matchup because Dardoch Lee Sin, talk about coming out of the gate swinging here.
Yeah.
First game on CLG, signature champion. Even if, Lee Sin is signature champion for like 30% of jugglers, it's always exciting to see him on that. Plus, to the point I was talking about earlier, his combination with Huhi, which is one of the things I was most looking forward to see how they can pull off, with even as limited practice time as they've had. Lee Sin and Talia is an amazing combo for trying to take over in the early game. Olaf is no slouch in the 1v1, but he'll have to combo with his laners.
We'll see if the combo works well. Of course, plenty of pushing power on the bot side. Caitlyn, Karma, one of the strongest bot lane duos, so maybe they do roam down towards 6A Nap, who are holding. We'll see what happens. Lineups once again on your screen. The 10 players, the 10 champions. Cloud9 6-man impact waiting in the wings as Ray got the nod for their opening game of the 2017 Summer Split here in North America. Cloud9 and CLG Gaming, two squads that are getting the early praise for maybe being finalists or maybe even winners. Some say these are both teams in the top three. Maybe they'll both go to Worlds by the end of it all, but these are certainly two teams that North American fans are likely to rally behind, and we'll see just how good these squads are in their first test of the split. A lot of signatures there on that CLG side. That fan's been here before. He's got some lights, make sure you can see it. And here we go. It is time for the very first game of the split as Cloud9 takes on Counter Logic Gaming.
Woo! Confrontation there in the audience as well, and everyone definitely hyped up for the opener here. See if we can get some early invades as far as deep warding goes. You know, Olaf, I always like to talk about exploiting Olaf early when we see him in the game, though I've really rarely seen it actually pulled off, because you need some extra vision to be able to take advantage of him, you know, trying to get himself low in the jungle, and very rarely do we actually see teams be able to punish him and, you know, try and pull off that sneaky invade for first blood. But you know, Dardock's an aggressive guy, and one that could go for it.
And aggressive for Dardock, I don't know if you mentioned this, but he's got a control ward on his first opening purchase. So a single ward, of course, Lee Sin, pretty safe early clear overall. Only has one single potion, and that early control ward might mean some power, some pressure. He gets 100 damage on Jensen.
Yeah, it could definitely help out with that early information. I was talking about getting over contracts. Not yet to go for much more than the common Raptor ward, though. CLG have that. Cloud9 not going for one of their own, and it looks like Contract's also not going to start on the blue. They'll just do that Raptor, and then we may see them fight over the second respawns on Raptor. That has been extremely common. You know, mid lane presence as far as where you're pushing post 4 minutes into the game really does affect junglers as well.
You can see it takes a while for Lee Sin to go through the first camp, and Olaf already killed up small Raptors by now.
Yeah, I mean, Dardock did start the Q. Sometimes we'll see people start off with the Tempest, but very often we'll see Sonic and Resonating Strike. The pink ward, actually control ward, yeah, was just used to make sure that there was no vision on Dardock for their start here at that very common Raptor ward. The other thing you can do with that early control ward is if you think they warded your Raptors, use your control ward, kill that ward, you get 30 experience for killing a ward now, and that enables the Raptor into red, into Scuttle Crab route, which Dardock is actually going for, but I don't think he got the kill on any wards early game, so I don't think he'll get level 3 off this, unless he's running an experience quint.
He is. So that's level 3 for Dardock. 8 CS is the entire
and
going for here in
talked
this one.
About him.
Gonna find Contracts. Early goes pop. There's a flash to follow the slow. Can he land the Q? It's all about the skill shot. And Contracts gets the juke. He was patient enough. And this is going to be a blue buff that resets as well. Dardock was getting a lot of time off this.
Really, really fancy feat there from Contracts. He pops the ghost and just tries to zigzag, hoping, dear God, please let me dodge this Q. He pulls it off and is able to survive, even though Dardock does go for the early punish on the Olaf that I've been waiting for seasons to see.
And we got it. So that was nice right there. Dardock goes in for it. There was no ward kill at 6 CS for the entire Raptor camp, but that invade was beautiful, and they had an early ward to track the path that Olaf went for.
Oof. Yeah, what an explosive start, even though we don't see, you know, the kill actually coming through.
Well, this is warded, so as soon as he jumps the wall, he'll be seen. And here comes it. Ray knows what's going on. Ease away. Does flash out. Darshan tried to flash to get into the range of the E. Couldn't block it. And the body slam did nothing afterwards.
And that's something that we criticize top laners for so often, is not flashing early. Ray, really good respect there. You know, does get the reveal at the same time, but able to dodge out and trade flashes there. So impressive performance from the Sword, who's actually on a tank champion here. Even though so much has been talked about, you know, Galio's incredible wave clear. Bottom lane, though, good trade.
Yeah, really good chunk there, but as Ignite used, so 6A can weather the storm without that. And he has going Warlord's Bloodlust. There we go. Sorry, guys. And he'll heal up a bit more in the laning phase with his Doran's Blade, so should be able to sustain this okay as 6A.
shove here for Cloud9, though, to see if they can get some bottom lane control. That does help out a lot in retaking control of the river as well. Currently, though, Huhi and Dardoch are setting up that roam combo that we talked about. The early control wards through the river, you know, shoving here from Talia. And Dardoch looking to make some moves around his mid laner. Contracts has done a good job of stabilizing, by the way. As far as reacting to that early aggressive move from Lee Sin, probably can't come out of it better than Contracts did. He dodges the Q, doesn't go down, immediately gets back to the bottom side to continue his farming on those very high population camps, and sustains through with his Hunter's Potion.
Yeah. Contract's plenty of farm. Of course, Krugs are worth 10. Dardoch reveals himself in the mid lane.
Yeah, and he also has gone in, he cleared out that control ward that was on the Raptors, and is going to be able to track Dardoch now. Even though Dardoch, still good experience lead due to his counter jungle, taking away the blue buff there, which is very important for Olaf.
That's by Darshan. Immediately taps the E, so he gets away from the taunt, doesn't get too much damage onto himself. And Contract's in the top side, of course, down a level under Dardoch, and alongside Ray, looks to set up a trap to say, if you go for the Krugs, we'll kill you. Dardoch doesn't go.
CLG looking more offensive with their playmaking here, though, as Aframu roams up.
The knock up on a Jensen, the flash for the tap, they're going to land that, at the very least for the root. Here comes the Q from Dardoch, damage is there, they're going to get him. First blood through for Dardoch, and so far so good for CLG's new jungler.
Aframu roams up from the bottom lane, and they coordinate with Dardoch into the mid lane. This is getting that snowball going. The kill also does go over to the Lee Sin. Look at this, Huhi sets it up, landing his seismic shove, and then Aframu, no hesitation after he sees the seismic shove has landed.
Yeah.
And they're able to get it.
And a lot of that timing is so unlucky for Jensen. You might say, oh, why don't you flash the knockup? Well, no one else is on screen. You don't flash random skill shots in lane for no reason, but as soon as it hits him, then Aframu's in range, and he tries to flash, and he can't anymore. And a bit unlucky for Jensen, but a great play by CLG overall. The level 5 roam, certainly very strong for them. 700 gold lead for CLG in their first game of the split.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we talked about. CLG has always had, you know, good game plans set up for them coming into the game and executed good level 1s or good, you know, invades like we saw, which, you know, though there was very little variation that really goes on there. But this, you know, adaptation post, you know, first play, coming in to try and continue their focus on that mid lane.
They want the red buff here. They know it's spawning up soon. This control word that was set down earlier by Contracts helps track what's going on. They know Dardoch's here, so Smoothie's going to find someone, going to kick him across and figure out what he wants to do. Q's over the wall. Look at the damage of the Smoothie, forcing Flash and Summoner heal out, despite the fact that it was Dardoch who got kind of caught out. Good play by him to get away.
Yeah, I mean, they can see him, but Dardoch goes for that invade because he's level 6 with the extra kick there, able to find himself a way out. Getting an extra summoner spell on the way as well. It's just a little icing on top of the cake there. Ray continuing to trade decently into Darshan, and he's got a little bit of a CS lead here. One wave.
I want to point out random mechanics of the game. Rift Herald, I believe, does not spawn until 10 minutes in. So, and we talked about top laners getting pressure and playing for Rift Herald. That won't happen for another 2 minutes, but we may see that come to bear soon enough. Ray has so far won his lane against Darshan. He's up 8 minions. We'll see if that continues.
It definitely is a good point to bring up early because with the Rift Herald rework, you know, everyone's so excited about how quickly it can kill turrets. It's also so much weaker that it's easily soloable by top laners or junglers in the game. You can dodge a lot of his damage, and then even so, if you have to take the hits, they don't do nearly as much. So you have to keep your eyes on that one. Here we go, though. There's the combination. Talia and Lee Sin looking to move bottom. There's no flash on Smoothie, remember.
The wall where they catch none of them off with it. Not going to be much CC. The root onto his face. That's going to be kill picked up there for Sneaky. It's Smoothie in the bot lane. Another root on a 6 of it. He's not in range of the turret. They're going to stay alive. Nice defense, 2 versus 4.
Yeah, it was maybe a good idea, but very poor execution there for CLG. And Huhi stuck under the turret, goes down immediately in the 4v2. Pulled out by Sneaky and Smoothie.
Absolute blooper there. You see Darshan relentlessly trying to attack Ray, not getting much. But Contracts, of course, off the fact that Dardoch showed bot lane, gets time to steal away rapid, which is a nice steal.
Yeah, definitely doing some farming work there for himself. Here we go, though. Smoothie immediately just polymorphs into a beautiful skill shot there from Sneaky. So much easier to land that Varus ultimate if they're slowed up, a little critter walking away, but let's take the opportunity to talk about Cloud9 and Cloud9's bottom lane specifically, because there's so much hype around, oh, Dardoch's on CLG now, kind of bending the stories there so much, but my goodness, this bottom lane was absolutely tremendous for Cloud9 last split, and a huge part of them, getting to that second place spot. Smoothie, pretty much unanimous best support voted in the entire league there. And Sneaky also having a very good split for himself.
At least a top 3. Of course, Arrow got MVP, but he's arguably next up there, kind of alongside Stixxay. And of course, you talk about good bot lanes. It was Stixxay and Afra who were considered one of the better ones before. And yeah, the question is, can Sneaky get back to that sort of top form? Can this bot lane really be a carry? And now that they're the only kill in the squad so far, this would certainly be an option. The game is tied in gold right now, and certainly anyone's to win. Pretty much all the lanes are treading water. Farm leads are less than 10 across the board, aside from Olaf Lee Sin, which is kind of irrelevant because Krugs inflate that number. Looks like maybe an early Mountain Drake may be on the table for CLG. Rift Herald, of course, has spawned as well, and it has usually been Ray who's got the push lead, so that makes me feel like Cloud9 have more rights to it.
Yeah, and CLG seem to have staked their control over this bottom river. Plenty of ward control, as well as the Scuttle Crab that just times out now. Contracts actually sees Dardoch on that ward, so doesn't want to go expose himself for the control ward. He's respecting this period of the game. There's a lot of burst in Lee Sin, and even though Olaf is very strong in the 1v1s, burst is something you have to be really scared of with a mobile mid laner like Talia. Even though he died in that bottom lane play, he didn't use his summoners, so you definitely have to respect that.
Another shot at it, and even speaking of having shots at it, Caitlyn, the long-range ultimate, can always participate in these fights a lot of times as well. So you're right, just the threat from out-of-range damage is there from CLG. Cloud9 still treading water for a while. Both Olaf and Lee Sin are kind of considered early-game junglers in that they're not going to scale into absolute insane monsters. You kind of require good plays out of them. Darshan does not go for the flash play. He baits it and hopes that Jensen goes for the flash. Ooh, that knockback. Not good with the water, but that one was good from who? He looked at the damage out of Jensen. Dardoch not going to land the Sonic Wave. There will be no kill. Jensen withstands all the pressure.
A lot of roaming mid here from CLG. You can definitely see them sticking to that plan we talked about in Champ Select. Now they're bringing 5 members to push for an early first turret gold.
Afra's nearby as well. The attacks are coming in. Wall's going to cut off some of the moves out of Contract who can't join this fray.
He can circle around behind though, and Galio does have ultimate.
He pops the ghost. They want to fight this one. Can they find the way in? Looking in for Darshan. There's the front line. Not going to land the slow. Just at the flash taunt. The root in for Sneaky as well. This is going to be a catastrophe for Counterlogic Gaming. It's a 1-0 so far as Dardoch's been picked up, and it's actually not going to be much more. Damage on a Smoothie chunk down to 200 HP. No more kills to be had. There was no Galio knockup coming through, but the taunt was good enough for one.
Yeah, Contracts only has to use Ghost and Ultimate in there. Ray still holding on to the Galio ult. A lot of damage being given back here, though, after the kill is traded. Big news is, though, the first turret gold still on the table, and just 1 kill traded over, still fairly close. Take another look here at the flank from Contracts. He's trying to dodge his way in and get some space here, but then flash from Ray, gets the double taunt, and again, Varus, really good follow-up CC. Able to land that and secure the kill.
Really good stuff there. 500 gold difference. Cloud9 now in the lead for the first time this game, as it was CLG who got first blood earlier. 2 kills traded back, and it's the bot lane again. 100% kill participation. Sneaky and Smoothie. Arguably the best bot lane in North America, or at least they were last split. They're definitely up in the rankings, and we'll see if they can continue to put in work here. Jensen, his story is somewhat redemption. He knows he had helped cost his team the championship last split. So far, withstanding pressure, but hasn't made any crazy moves just yet.
So the thing about him costing his team the championship
it's the easy thing to look at.
I don't even think it's true. He did so much to even put them in a position where they could win.
It's fair.
People really ignore a lot of the early work he did on Echo, even to get them, close in that game. Anyways, that is far in the past.
You're right. It's a bit more than.
And this one is definitely still to be played out. Currently, mid lane CS is very close still. It was just the the roams that have really affected these mid laners. A lot of pressure from CLG to mid resulted in that kill there, and then obviously Huhi under turret was the other one. So much of the vision though around that bottom lane has swung over to Cloud9's side, as plenty of the river wards here are backed up by control wards as well.
Sneaky is going for Blade of the Ruin King on Varus. I think it's actually debatable at this point what build you go for because of the buffs to Zeal and Infinity Edge, but this is what he's doing. Of course, we are on 7.10, so the 3% lifesteal nerf on live is not in effect for this game. Maybe part of the reason he's staying with the build he has right now. Just pointing it out for anyone who does like to purchase items correctly in the bot lane here. Dardoch not going to find anyone to kill. Defensive control ward keeps him safe, but Sienna doesn't know he's here, but he finds nothing to kill. Ray once again looking to roam back down to the bot side, jumping through, finds a ward, and again, that's going to be no likely roams as CLG knows he's around.
All right, a lot of pings coming down here onto the Dragon, though. Looks like we're going to start off again. Contracts is in.
It's a slow number 2 into Dardoch. No ward hops left. He's got to flash the wall, still getting slowed. Contract's going to look for a bit more into this one. The root is there. Look at the plays on that one. They're going to look to knock down Dardoch, still running away. The Ghost, the run, and they're going to get him with the one final auto attack as Sneaking maintains his 100% kill motivation. 2-0-1. The whole team helped kill him.
All right, Galio ultimate was used, but Ray still has teleport. If he wants to get back to the top lane, he should be able to get back there before first turret goes down. And first turret still on the board is a very big prize to help snowballing.
Down it goes. Blue team has slain the first Drake of the game. Darshan, a bit of time in the top lane alone, but no one comes to help him knock this turret down. It's at half HP, and C9 now definitely winning this game.
Yeah. Ray is going back to purchase first before he gets back up to that top side. Not scared of the Gragas damage on the turret up there. Contract there, he does hesitate to use that blast cone, but then does decide to loop around as 6A got a good angle onto Dardoch and is able to finish him off here. Nowhere for him to go.
And nicely played by Cloud9 here. We've actually started to pick off on Dardoch. He got first blood, but the rest of the game has been him trying to find the plays, and he's been unable to do so. And despite his first blood gold, he is now behind in gold against Contracts, who has been farming reasonably well on this Olaf.
And remember, the last split as well, and there's a reason that Cloud9 and TSM, people always talk about as the 2 best teams in North America, and pretty clear. And last split, it was so much about Cloud9's mid and late game. Their early game wasn't even, the best part of this team. And them transitioning here with an extra Mountain Drake and the slight gold lead here, now into the mid game, they're starting to get off some of those very successful team fights.
Cloud Drake spawning next for them here. Gold lead still only 300 to 400, but looks like turret damage now in the mid lane here. Contracts and Jensen, the 2 working for. The rest of the team showing up as well. This actually should be the first turret of the game going down. Mountain Drake certainly helps. And the gold lead now quadruples as that one falls. Cloud9 now sizably 1K up.
All right, mid lane, the first to fall here, and the ward's already deep in CLG's jungle. So Dardoch doesn't have a lot of room to work with anymore here, even on the Lee Sin. Currently, he has been able to slip past all of the wards into bottom lane, attempt at recovering this game here. Both top laners, remember, do have teleports, but he doesn't get into the bush quite.
6A is seen. Afro's not the flank. They're going to go for the root. Here comes Huhi as well. Sneaking a flash to the wall. Here comes the rest of the team fight, though. Olaf in the front lines. They're going to take him down. Huhi is dropped, but it's a 1-for-1 so far. Shockwave comes in. Dardoch's already gone. Chase on a 6A. Make that a 3-kill pickup with only 1 casualty. Cloud9 starting to slaughter CLG.
Oh, and they've got Afro cornered here. Jensen doesn't want to let him out.
Now Afro move out to become an Afro burger here, and this one takes him down. Jensen just destroys him where he stands. 7-2 in the scoreboard. Only Darshan unscathed. And even then, losing his trade against Ray. Bot lane turret will fall.
This game definitely getting out of hand quickly. Cloud9 coming in very strong here with their mid-game plays. Another successful, not only 3 kills going over, but another turret falls. More map pressure going over to C9. And look at the reaction here. They already had Contracts as well as Jensen mirroring this roam from Huhi, completely ready for a possible bottom lane play, and they absolutely demolished CLG.
Great plays out of Cloud9 right here, stopping everything CLG wants to do. Only 2 kills on the scoreboard. That is it. That's the only thing of value CLG has done this game. First blood was nice, but it's not been a lot since. Cloud9 continue to look very, very strong. We'll see if they can keep pushing this forward.
Last starter turret left standing will be on the top side, and as such, they've already rotated Smoothie and Sneaky up onto that top side, ready to continue the pressure. And my goodness, just look at how many wards C9 have on the map. Completely lit up that top side where the last outer turret is. So they have so much freedom, not only to start off the plays up there and pressure the top turret, but react to CLG. CLG now clearing out some of them, But, oh, sneaky actually.
Gonna find a knock over towards the rest of the team, and he's gonna be found out for this one. No flash available, no way to live. A kill comes through, kind of gaming. Finding signs of life, 20 seconds till Rift Herald despawns. They are not gonna go for it though. Maybe gonna help them tie up some of the scoreboard, but gonna let that one despawn. So North America, 0% Rift Heralds.
Really good opportunity there for CLG to now get some gold on the mid turret, but looking to get punished.
And just running at Dardoch, looking to kill some junglers off. Here comes the Galio. The Grand Entrance is there, looking for a teammate, looking for an enemy. Gonna flash. He's gonna find Aframu, and the kill is almost secure, but a flash and a shield gets him away, so just barely CLG lives.
Teleport coming in from Darshan. Do CLG really want to keep this going?
Doesn't have the ult, but can he get a flash or a body slam? Ray's gonna find a taunt. They're gonna get some damage with a knockup as well. And there's a knock back onto Ray, down to 1,000 HP. Another shield keeps him alive for now. No kills to be had.
Ooh, I really don't know about that teleport. I think Darshan could have stayed up in top lane and actually gotten that top turret after they waited so long to make the call for this teleport, and doesn't finish off the turret, nor do they get any counter kills in mid lane. CLG, it looks like, uh-oh, bit of a fumble there. Sneaky wants revenge.
Olaf's coming as well. Sneaky ulti up in about 20 seconds in this one. Body slam buys some more time. The Q slow makes him safe. Unless Contracts wants to dive, he's going to land the slow, and they're going to go for this underneath the turret. A flash out of Darshan is a worthy choice by Cloud9 to force that summoner out, but now Ray, his days are numbered. No ulti, no flash, no way out. Stixxay gets the kill, and CLG getting this game closer, only 2,000 apart now. The top lane under fire by Sneaky, and Smoothie should kill the turret.
2,000 apart, and look at the mid and top turrets as well. Extremely low for C9, but because they were able to defend that, you know, they hold on to this gold lead. Now they can counter push there on the top side. Stixxay will be left bottom here, it looks like, to take the bottom turret for CLG. That does mean that the rest of the squad has to play a little bit more defensively and be ready to disengage if Cloud9 decide to force.
And with all of Contract spending his time and actually showing himself in this top lane, the CLG knows there's no jungler around, and Cloud Drake will be a pretty easy solo pickup for Dardoch. He's going to take basically no damage, take that one easily. Stixxay knocks down that bottom turret, and the game once again remains a bit close.
Yeah, very close. If they even up this dragon here, you know, there's the potential for those two outer turrets to fall pretty quickly, and this is still very much a close game. Have to definitely look towards the team fights as the crucial moments now. We get another look though at Ray. On the Galio.
Didn't know that's how that works.
I've seen it so many times there with Galio's punch. Doesn't get.
I guess it's a cast animation, so yeah. That makes sense.
Once he starts the recoil.
Yeah, it's like how Rocket Jump and like Arcane Shift work. I just didn't think about it, but you're right, that makes a lot of sense now.
Regardless though, it is going to be a little bit of gold over to CLG as well as the Cloud Drake. That being said, have to look at the item breakpoints here. Stixxay now finally getting to a little bit of that crit multiplier that you're looking for, but he hasn't gone for the Hurricane.
That's interesting because, so on live, on 7.11, Hurricane lost its Caitlyn synergy, where it stacks headshot twice as fast, or 3 times as fast. And the fact that they're playing, it's 7.10, the Hurricane synergy is still there. Now that said, in 7.9, in the mid-season, Static Shiv got massive buffs. It does way more damage now, and so I've always liked Shiv as a high damage item, and it certainly does that. Stixxay's single target damage goes up a lot because of Static Shiv. You can crit that damage. It'll do like 400 damage if you can crit that, so maybe that's going to be the reason why. Maybe it's because he's used to 7.11 on live. I don't know which, but either way, I like Shiv, and it's going to be fun to watch him use it.
Also, we're going to see if Darshan can work his way out of Cloud9's jungle. Body slam right over the wall there without taking down any wards, but currently Cloud9 can hold on to this gold lead if they continue to push up in their mid lane as well as top side. CLG are looking to get back into it through one of those turrets. A lot of control wards being placed defensively here as the Baron setup begins.
See what they get for this one right here. 2,500 gold puts Cloud9 ahead. They've got the Mountain Drake to rush it down. They're starting to play for vision control.
Now,
wards they can get rid of.
Another thing too, you know, Cloud9 should be tracking the teleport timers, but as you get down to the very few seconds before it comes back up, you know, it's almost back up now. You have to give a little bit of leeway there as far as the exact timer. So unless they were to force something very quickly when they're fighting over those wards, I think that we're probably not going to see them, you know, try and take advantage of that teleport discrepancy. And more focus here on knocking over those low health turrets. Looks like mid lane will be the choice as they're looking for some positioning. Both teams ready to get that flank on though.
Deadman's play Olaf doesn't quite find a target to go for. Dardoch gets to steal away a red buff, though, so despite getting those 3 deaths, he's found ways to be effective. Taking a red, taking a Cloud Drake is good.
Now, there's only one Scrying Orb here available for CLG, and that is Stixace. He's just used it on the Baron. So they're running out of vision opportunities to check that without having to get very close. And Huhi's committing bottom side on Ray.
All right, well, they have Darshan's TP, but yeah, Huhi would have to run back across the map, and Cloud9's looking for it.
It is a bit of a bait because Talia, with her passive, surfing on the rocks, on the walls, can get back up there very quickly. Sometimes this early in the game, only 25 minutes, you can try and bait the other team into starting Baron, and then look for the wall to trap him inside, but Huhi
gonna get slowed down by the Axe. Not gonna pop the ulti just yet. Gonna flash to get away, but now Connor's can keep the chase going. Does not land the first Axe, though, and Huhi will get away, popping his own ghost. That's 2 summoners down for 1.
Yeah, it definitely does take away a lot of that mobility. Meanwhile, here on the bottom side, Darshan was left alone as Ray was rotating up in case they had that possible engage.
Yeah. Cloud9 know they have complete Fog of War in this Baron pit, so they started up. Smoothie takes the aggro. Of course, when Baron hits you, it cuts your damage by half, so please don't have your marksman tank it. Nice wall reveals what's going on, but that is one less tool available now as 6A Scryer's Bloom, or Scryer's Orb, still halfway on cooldown.
Yeah, beautiful wall there. Not only does it reveal, but it pushes them all out of Baron pit as well to force the stop on the Baron. Darshan, again, he doesn't have his, gauntlet, frozen gauntlet finished right now, so he doesn't take turrets very effectively.
He's got money for it,
but he's working on it.
He's got 2,000 gold on the bank, so Darshan needs to back pretty soon and actually get that pressure. You're right, it would have helped him push. Doesn't have it just yet, though. Huhi back on the map. Did not go cooldown boots. He had gone Sword Shoes, so these summoners going to be much longer cooldowns than maybe if he were a Victor or something, who does go for that item more often. We're going to keep the wave clear going in the mid lane, and we stay at this 2.5k difference. Cloud9 did not manage to secure that Baron bait or the sneak in any way.
Yeah, I mean, the real big difference is that they have been able to keep these 2 turrets standing with very, very little health. So the extra gold pre-team fight hasn't gone over yet.
Oh, they're going for this one, though. It's Ray in the front line. Contract's joining in as well. Going to land. This slows the route out of Sneaky, and here comes the kill on a Huhi. No way out for Dalia. Next up is going to be the polymorphed Gragas, and Darshan forced to run Ignite is on the snipe in for Sneaky. Makes it a 2 for 0.
Woo, the train doesn't stop there. Contract's in once again. Galio ultimate on top provides so much security for these Olaf dives, and they absolutely destroy the backline there.
And look at the patience by Cloud9. They wait to kill all the wards first, knowing that respawn timers are 30 seconds long. Make sure Dardoch feels unsafe, kill all the wards off, then go for the Baron afterwards. Make sure you can see him coming in. Stixace is on the wings. The Lee Sin and Karma are far. There's no way in for this one. No steal to be had. In Contract smites away at 480 health. Baron at Cloud9 means a huge lead.
All right, CLG here looking to get some of the gold back, and
Goes for the
Smoothie!
kick. They're going to take him down. Smoothie bet up more than he can chew. Mid-turret falls as well. CLG making the best of a bad situation. Get something back.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a split there for Cloud9 as they really wanted to deny that, but CLG...
This is TP.
Uh-oh.
Darshan's coming in. Can they find a play? He's still invisible down here. Looking to bait them at the Drake setup. Ray as far does have teleport.
I like how everyone starts laughing when he places that control word to make sure he's not been seen, but now he gets a flank because of it.
5v4, 5v3 for a short time. They've got the backline access. They're going for Jensen down here. Shockwave catches Dardoch, and Jensen gets a kill in a 1v2. Now it's on to Huhi as Contract takes one down. Cloud9 under man doesn't matter. What? 3 kills picked up already, and it's at least a trade kill for Darshan. But that is a fight that Cloud9 won literally 3v5 by 2 kills.
Oh my goodness, absolutely destroyed there. And because it was 3v5, this turret is obviously going down. Baron up, double stacked minion wave here is gonna be pushing on in, and C9 have a bunch of gold to claim.
Wow, this is gonna be so much now. 5,000 gold is gonna become even more soon enough. Mid lane's gonna fall. Sneaky at 5-1, and 5 has been just a consistent contributor here as well. Jensen got a second death, but 11 of 12 kill participation is certainly great. Contracts unkilled, also awesome in this game.
Yeah, let's take a look at the 2 splits here, because a little bit lack of focus. Dardoch and Darshan both go on to Jensen, and he's able to solo in the 1v2 take out Dardoch very early, which is most of the damage. And even though Darshan does end up getting him, he bought enough time for that two-man skirmish up on top that we saw, where Contracts was playing a very good front line for Sneaky, and Sneaky was able to auto-attack pretty much the entire little skirmish there. That's why they were able to get 3 kills. and really take off here.
They won a 2v3 and they went tied in a 1v2. Definitely good play out of Cloud9 here. And this one, the CLG, I think it was a good choice, but it was still executed better. Cloud9 props to them. 6-kill lead, double mount. Drake good at closing out games, and the 5,000 gold lead is probably all they need to make that happen. Crit items are in for Sneaky. Infinity Edge third. I love it. It's the right item to buy, in my opinion, and it being cheaper makes it more likely. A lot of Varus used to go Ginsu's Rage Blade third, and never quite liked it, so he's onto this one.
Well, yeah. I feel like there's very little argument now for not going Infinity Edge. It's so much cheaper. Huge amount of value there. And man, we saw it in work as well. The DPS he's been putting out. All right, trap lines here for CLG. Trying to make their stand at the secondary turret, but looks like they'll just thread through the traps and wait for inhibitor ones.
All right, and now he's got to put new ones down, Stixay, as they try to wave through. Shiv will help a little bit. You can see he's able to kill the casters off with a Peacemaker and the Shiv damage, but the Lord Dominic's Regards will help somewhat against Contracts and Ray, but he's certainly not been able to punch through this front line well enough. They've got more gold than he's got. And double stone plates in as well for the front line.
Exactly. This is one of the most fun items from the rework, just because the front line, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later actually. The Cloud9 are pushing in with the Baron empowered minions, trying to take down mid as well as bottom simultaneously. Baron does time out though.
Yeah, times out, so the minions are very easy to kill now for the Caitlyn, but there's still the matter of powerful champions who want to kill you. You can see that's line of control wards to make sure that CLG can't get any wards over the wall, so that C9 can constantly rotate in Fog of War as the minion waves are cleared. You don't know if Oriana's looking for a shockwave, if Sneaky's trying to snipe you. There's just no options there for you.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Might have been a bit overkill with the extra
The third one's a bit much. But again, they just create Fog of War. They can snipe from back down here and constantly push down the minion lines. And C9 can, I feel like, sort of stay in this holding pattern and keep poking. It looks like for now they're actually going to back off.
Unlucky. As soon as you say that, Freak.
Worst analyst NA, DA Freak Turley. They can do this forever. Okay, they're leaving. Just kidding. They can leave. Yeah, that's me.
All right. All of the control wards go down as well. It does take extra auto attacks, though. All right. CLG, still, though, there aren't any options for them, right? I mean, there's nothing on the map for them to farm. And as you said, Cloud9, they can still keep them bottled inside of the base while farming the map. So just increase the gold lead, increase the power difference here, and return after the extra neutral objective comes up.
It actually reminds me of 2013 Spring Split Team Dignitas when KiwiCo was a top laner. Is they would get early leads, they push you in your base, and they just farm the jungle for 10 minutes, and you'd never get any gold, and eventually they win the game with a gold lead here. Cloud9 maybe doing something a bit similar. Random callback, but certainly they're getting 2-to-1 in the gold income in the map right now, and they can keep getting an XP lead and a gold lead this way. Jensen's up a level, Dark Contract's up 2, Ray's up 1, etc., etc. There's really no one with a lead here on CLG. And Cloud9, they get the recalls off, they buy new control wards. Baron's up in under 2 minutes. They say, okay, we'll go for Baron number 2, and we'll use that to close out the game.
Yeah, I mean, what a start here to the summer split for C9. Placing so close to TSM, barely getting second in spring. Coming out swinging. No side effect of not going to MSIs. You do get more time on the current patch and adjusting to the mid-season changes. Like very well adapted. No hesitation in going for either the Galio pick or the double stone plates.
And they'll be able to block it on the front line. They're going to feel really good about this one. Slow onto Dardoch. Contract's looking for a teammate or an enemy. All the same, really, for Olaf. He stands alone.
Luckily for his teammates, not all the same. We don't have friendly fire.
True. Sometimes Tulia and Anivia can sound like that, but not the case here in this one. Darshan in the mix. Doesn't get much. Has stone plate. It's definitely a very good tank item.
Yeah, I mean the active is just so nice for timing it after you use a bunch of your combos, right? So most champions, you can use a lot of your damaging combo early, then pop your stone plates, so that the damage that you're taking will basically get 50% value. Once the thing wears off and you return to your normal health. and you don't really have much of the downside of the damage reduction unless you're something that has spammable spells and you're losing out there.
Right, unless your cooldowns are less than 4 seconds, you're not even missing damage output, as you mentioned. You burn the cooldowns, pop it, get essentially an Alice roll for 4 seconds and come back into the fray, and life is good. So we'll see what can happen here. CLG trying to get their way back out of the base. Baron Nashor has spawned yet again, and the Elder Dragon is 40 seconds apart from that one, so there's no split calls here.
Oh, he's back, all right. And this time around, C9 have even more reason to just start him up and burn him down. Double mountains, they can almost instantly kill him.
Not even a chance to be in range. This one picked up, not even with a smite contract. Who even cares? Jensen gonna make that one happen. Easy cleanup on Baron Nashor, and into the mid lane they can go with a 9,000 gold lead.
All right, Baron empowered push. Let's see if they go for the dive or play it a little bit safer here. Elder Dragon in 10 seconds. Looks like they'll just stick around, see if CLG want to take this fight at the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be the fight for the Elder. Darshan forced to kite back. The shield's been popped. Gets a nice knock-up on contract, but he's tanky as all hell. Nice wall to block out some of it. Knocks out Ray, but there's still no fight to be had. And Darshan now down to 2/3 HP. More poke coming in for Sneaky. They can just get rid of this tank right here. The root's going to land. They can knock him out right there. Ray going to look for a frontline and a kill. Not going to get the one just yet, but there goes Contract to make it happen. Knockup finds nobody, but a Contract still tanky. Now going to kite back. Here comes the dive in. Going to find the knockup on a Jensen. And it doesn't really matter as Dardoch falls 2 for 0 advantage to Cloud9. Gigantic Olaf in the front as well. Not quite going to find the knockup as Ray, but does get a taunt. And there's the flash, the whimsy, the kill off, and the snipe. Help make it happen, and Ray gets the shutdown 3 for 0. Cloud9 smashing CLG even more.
Oh my God, they're just playing with him right now.
He's dead. I don't think he cares, but he's dead. Throws the axe in the air, shutdown comes through. Stixxay improves to 3 kills. We said earlier on Twitter, if you don't pick me in fantasy, you're trolling. Unfortunately, 3-1-0 is not the best fantasy line, but I guess homie Contract helps him out, adds 2 points to his scoreboard here. Cloud9 will take down the middle inhibitor, and they will have to back up for now as they're missing a member.
Man, it just looks so frustrating to play against this C9 Juggernaut at this point in the game. Contract's running forward with the Galio damage reduction on top of them. They were able to almost entirely take away Darshan's health pool before there was a full commitment to the fight. Here comes his teleport for a flank.
Dardoch is far.
They could split him up.
It's a 4v4 right now. Dardoch's still a bit far away. Darshan coming in. Here comes the frontline shot as well. Sneaky a bit low. Can they find the explosive cast? Can he get the team in?
Oh!
Yes, he gets them into the fight, but the flash gets him back away. Nothing good came out of Dardoch there, and Darshan just survives. Shockwave knock up the kill on a Dardoch 1 for 0. Can they make it a second? Pretty soon they will. As they look for Darshan, kites away, slows them up. Not going to be killed just yet, but now Ray is out of mana. He's going to kite away and stay alive.
Oh no, the anti-synergy there.
Misses the Q off the explosive cast.
Well, Dardoch goes for the guaranteed ultimate into Q combo from Lee Sin, but Darshan had thrown the Gragas cast first, and now he might pay for it with his life.
Randuin's into the engage. There's the double knockup, and there's all the kills they need. 2 dead already. Make it 3. Cloud9 just every single fight they're winning it, and CLG can't turn anything around. He's just going to have to run away for this one. Into the mid lane they go. There's nothing left to really defend at this point. The inhibitor's gone. There's a Baron buff on super minions. There's 35 seconds left on the buff. This should be game 1 being closed out. He clears away the bot lane wave. No one cares about that. It's the mid lane that matters. Nexus turret number 1 is down. Nexus turret number 2 going to follow shortly as well. And game 1 of the split goes to Cloud9.
Seamless here from Cloud9. Ray starting, building full tank on Galio. The shield can block, or the sword can block as well.
Apparently so. His parrying skills are unmatched. A really good play out of pretty much everyone on Cloud9. Contract certainly was coming out swinging that entire game. He was diving headlong in that with that Olaf, and it certainly worked well for him.
Yeah, I mean, so he reacted very well to the early pressure, to the early invades here from Lee Sin. He's able to dodge out that critical Q that would have given over First Blood. Then he returns to farming with his Hunter's Potion. He goes back to try and get experience lead back into the game by getting that vision on the top side. So good reactions, because that's one of the things that often critically look at, especially the more rookie or junior players, when you're getting invaded and when you're getting pressured super hard early in the game. Do you start to panic, or does your game plan then go out the window? But he remained very calm. They played as a team, and C9 had very good counter engages.
Yeah, I mean, it was very clutch that he dodged away from that first Sonic wave. That invade could have definitely turned the game around. You get the kill, Dardock feels even better about himself, gets a bit more snowball going. But as it was a well-played mid to late game for Cloud9. And now for a deeper dive into that one, let's send it over to the analysts.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, game one of the summer split is in the books, and Cloud9 rises to the top in a victory over CLG here. But I want to jump right into it. As Dardock, we talked about the trade coming over to CLG as a bit more of a playmaker. And right from the outset in Champion Select, we see the Lee Sin go over to him. So CLG saying, we're going to put some investment into him as a playmaker and get him on a champion where he can really apply the pressure in the early game.
And I think in the early game, it definitely paid off. The first 7 minutes of that game, he almost killed Contracts, and it was an outplay that ended up having to, have him blow his flash for no kill. But if you look at it in a holistic sense, he got his team first blood, could have gotten them 2 kills, and he also blew 4 summoner spells across the map in the first 7 minutes for only his own flash as a cost. So Dardock, in terms of early game, had it on lock for CLG. It's just some plays from CLG, like the Huhi wall down bottom, threw that lead away and made it so that Lee Sin wasn't as ahead as he could have been, because really, Contracts did a good job of dodging, but also farming up to be like twice the CS of the Lee Sin and have about 2 levels up on him later in the game.
But the intent was there. It was very clear. And also what I love to see about is that first blood that you mentioned involved Aphromoo roaming up. And what was something that we missed a little bit in spring? It was that playmaking aspect that we've always attributed to Aphromoo as a veteran, as a star player. And here he is teaming up with Dardock to make those early plays. Yes, as you mentioned, the advantages didn't snowball and end in a victory, but we'll get to why that is. The other thing Champion Select related I want to talk about is Ray on Galio, because we've always, all last split we're talking about impact, shield, Ray, sword. So we expect him to be on these aggressive tanks. But here we go. On the outset of the split, we're going to put him on Galio, and he performs.
Yeah, Ray, we always know he's been a mechanically gifted player, right? He's really good at those carries. And it's always been kind of integrating him in with the team as a tank top player that has good teleports, good global usage, but it hasn't been that way. The Galio, though, gave him a surefire way to join these fights multiple times with both teleport and the hero's entrance. So I think that this is a good champion for him. It's a little bit aggressive in lane and can push you out, but I definitely think his taunt flashes were perfect in this game.
Yeah, and all the while, C9 and building a team comp that was very comfortable in a 5v5 situation. It was even showcased more how practiced and efficient they are in their team fighting capabilities as we see them on your screen now. But we have to remember that is why they're able to come back into this game, right? While Dardock's making aggressive early skirmish moves, C9 comfortable to wait to those 5-man fights to get their advantage.
Exactly. They have the Orianna, they have the ultimate from the Varus to lock people down, and then they have the Galio in case they get engaged on, but also they would sometimes just throw the Olaf up there and throw in the ultimate on top of him. So Cloud9 had a comp that they could have those team fights, and it played to their strength as well. They have that synergy. They haven't replaced anybody on that team, and with Ray in there, who loves to start these team fights, it was definitely a good sign for them.
I love the Galio synergies. We were seeing, the LeBlancs, the Aries, things like that at MSI, but now you've got junglers who are just, I'm going to run at your face because I've got someone who will come in behind me. I'm waiting for Vi to come out because that's a fun one to watch as well. Let's dive into some of these fights you're mentioning, though, where it turned in favor of Cloud9. The first one coming at 17:40 into the game. C9 turning a 4-for-1 in the bot lane.
Yeah, this was a Talia wall that just gets flashed over, and then you have Huhi on the wrong side, and Dardock goes in too deep. But really, this ultimate as well from Sneaky that was used has just been pretty good, and then they make sure that Jensen picks up that kill, and this got them that turret. This got them 4 kills for pretty much almost nothing. It was just 1. It's just Smoothie going down, the support who was willing to sacrifice himself on that play, but I definitely think that C9 showed that their team fight comp definitely better across the board.
And this is just the comfortability of a squad that has been together longer than that of Dardock on CLG.
Yeah, and I like that fight as well because that was another one where Talia should be there first, should be there getting priority. It's part of her kit. She's supposed to ride the wall in and have that advantage. C9 were already ready for that and were able to counterplay that. So like we saw a bunch of Talia walls this game and they were really all kind of backfiring on Counter Logic Gaming.
Now, 2 other big fights I want to take a look at. These kind of happened back to back, so we'll roll through them at the same time. But you talking about Ray coming up big on Galios and the fun engages, here it is.
We missed this on the broadcast where he goes for the taunt flash, to get Huhi, and then there's the ultimate from Stixxay to follow it up. The root actually does land, and then he heroes entrances to make sure that they just get that kill onto Huhi, and this led to that Baron, where they're just throwing so much damage into both the tank and the mid lane damage dealer. And this fight as well, this is a great one because it's 4v5, and Contracts takes the root, he'll take the headshot, that's fine, he gets shielded, but Darshan was going for a clever flank here, and this really becomes two fights. A 2-on-1 on Jensen, who's so fed, has so much damage, and blows up Dardoch. But then on the top side, it's also Huhi trying to kill Contracts, who almost dies here, but he smites the Scuttle Crab as the last Caitlyn shot is coming through. And really, Contracts across the board, just great mechanical play in this game in particular, with the dodge at the level 2, and then also the outplay there with the Scuttle Crab.
I mean, that's the thing we have to remember, right? We talk about that early invade from Dardoch and getting the control of the top side of the jungle from Contracts. Well, Contracts, rookie of the split from last split, showing a lot of composure here and saying, all right, that's fine, I'll concede that part of the map. I'm going to farm my way back into the game. And again, we're going to win in that team fight phase because we're well practiced and we know how to operate as a team. Outside of that, let's talk about Jensen and his playmaking potential. I mean, we saw that tease coming into the week around him and the Echo Zonias. Now, he's not playing Echo here, but his Orianna has always been a huge pick for him. And right here on the outset, it seems like he's not missing a beat and making a case for, once again, the race for #1 mid laner.
Exactly. It always happens where it's like, oh, it falls a little bit short, but he gets right back up on that horse. The Orianna was a comfort pick for him, picked it like 7 times in a row near the end of the last split. So jumps right back in, comfort for him, team fight for Cloud9. And I think like getting camped early, because we saw Afromoo and Dardoch sit in those brush after they got that first kill, got the flash. They were ready for those return ganks, but Jensen didn't let that get to him and allowed both his jungler to farm up, but also for himself to farm up safely as well, which is something that, we have seen Jensen a little bit exploitable in the past, but it was very calm from him in this game.
Yeah, and while we had a great game out of Jensen, player of the game will go to Sneaky. You mentioned it. Some of his ults almost going unnoticed, but being very crucial in a lot of those team fights.
It's interesting because you would expect it to be somebody like Jensen with those big flashy plays, but really, Sneaky did a whole bunch of the team's damage. You could see almost 33%
Plus, he's got those luscious locks blowing in the wind. Look at that.
Yeah, player of the game just for that for Sneaky. But no, seriously, Sneaky, though, played that so well. And I think that, those Varus ultimates did go unnoticed, but you think back to the Huhi wall down bottom, hits him with the ultimate, that's what gives them that counter kill and makes it so that the whole early game from CLG is really moot.
All right, game 1 goes to Cloud9. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we come back, it's game 2 between Cloud9 and CounterLogic Gaming. Don't go anywhere.
Wait, I have never lost my the first game of the season.
Whoa.
I don't think so.
Whoa. The knock-up on a Jensen, the flash for the Tep, they're going to land that, at the very least for the root. Here comes the Q from Dardoch, damage is there, they're going to get him! First plug through for Dardoch!
Little bash.
Oh,
Nice.
I got bash. My TP
It's okay.
Nice. Okay, we can go around.
5v3 for a short time, they've got the backline access, they're going for Jensen down here, Shockwave catches Dardoch, and Jensen gets a kill in a 1v2, now on to Huhi, as Contract takes one down, Cloud9 under, man, doesn't matter! Game 1 of the split goes to Cloud9!